Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the Critic with Cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today we're going to be talking about Rian Johnson once again. So, could it finally be that there are at least some people in the media that are finally starting to see the light? I don't know. I saw this article earlier this morning, and I was reading through it, just skimming through it, and I thought to myself, this is not reading like a typical shill article. This seems to actually being rather critical of not only Rian Johnson, but also seems to be also implying what the Phantom Menace has been saying for a very long time. And it seems to admit certain truths that we've known about for a long time, but for some reason the media hasn't or the mainstream media rather, has decided not to cover. So I was just amazed. I was like, wait a minute, isn't this Movie Web? Isn't this a site that I sometimes, will try and tear apart because of their articles? But it looks like, at least for this situation, that they seem to be having some common sense. I don't know. I haven't read the entire thing. I've only skimmed through it, so let me just dive right into it. And just by the headline, Last Jedi director trashes Star Wars YouTuber Mike Zero, then deletes his tweets. Again, why? Because he's a coward. Rian Johnson is a coward. He is someone who will hide behind his Twitter handle to put a message out there, to put a hateful message out there, a bullying message out there, and then we'll delete it, and then, we'll just ignore it and pretend like it didn't happen. But of course, because it's the age of the internet, anything that you put out there will stay out there. Again, there's no way to get rid of it. Once you put something out there, it's almost impossible to be able to get rid of it completely. And guess what? A lot of people saw the comments. A lot of people screenshot the comments. This article talks about the comments. So you can't run away from it, Rian Johnson. I have not heard a formal apology to Mike Zero or anything else. And again, you can try and say, oh, well, aren't you just the same because you're hiding behind the camera? It's like, no, at least I'm bold enough to show my face, to show my voice, and actually share the message that I've been saying for a very long time now. So you know what? I think it's a little bit different than hiding behind just a Twitter handle, saying these random things, saying these hateful things towards other people, especially towards the fan base that you've pissed off. And yeah, so that's my thought on it. And the whole Rian Johnson situation, again, and I've said this from the very beginning, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to get this, but what needs to happen is Disney needs to come out and say, we disavow everything that Rian Johnson has said about the fandom, about certain fans, Mike Zero, anything else, and we just disavow it altogether. And also, even better, it would be great if they would come out and say, and also his trilogy has been canceled, or we are no longer going to work with him, because honestly, that's the best move that they could do at this point. Mike Zero thinks that the trilogy is not happening anymore. That's probably going to be one film just so that way they can see how well it does. But I'm telling you right now, because of everything this guy has done, recent events, notwithstanding, he has pissed off so many people in the fan base, not just with his movie, but also his reactions to fans and fan criticism, that at this point, if they'd have tried to put anything in theaters with Rian Johnson's name on it, it would fail. And not just because people wouldn't see it, but because you would have people actively boycotting the movie. And again, I'm not usually for boycotts, but in this situation, because of just how trash of a person that Rian Johnson has shown himself to be, I'm sorry, but I would be fully supportive. Obviously, I'd be supportive of it anyway, but, I would actually engage with that too. I would not go see anything with Rian Johnson's name on it. And so I think that voice, that message needs to be put out there saying, it's not that we would just not be a fan of it. We will literally not look at or watch any movie Rian Johnson will put out there, Disney. So I hope that the message becomes loud and clear to Disney. I hope that you join your voices with me in that sentiment, just to send that message saying, we do not want it. We do not want this guy who not only created a film that was very divisive, but also that narratively broke Star Wars in so many different ways. There's a video out there right now, which one of my subscribers wants me to do a video on, but I'm not one for going back and forth attacking other YouTubers directly in any way. I'm usually not that kind of a person, but I will say this, that the argument that they try and say is how there is this toxic masculinity that has led so many people of the fan base to hating The Last Jedi because they're uncomfortable with their own masculinity. And I just think that's total hot garbage. Anyone that's putting that message out there trying to say that it's all about sex and gender and everything is themselves a sexist. If you're going to blame people's perception of a movie on being scared of strong female characters or being strong of certain things, I'm sorry, but you are the one who's being a sexist. Doesn't matter if you're male or female saying those words, you are the one that's being a sexist because you're the one saying that an opinion is based just on someone's gender and nothing else. It would be like me saying that, oh, you only like bridesmaids if you're a female. That would be a sexist comment, and guess what? I don't say that. And it just boggles my mind that there are people who their minds are being changed by this video that's out there. The other reason why I don't want to give total direct acknowledgement of it is because I don't want to give it any more views, because I honestly don't think, and obviously if you want to search it out for yourself, go right ahead. I tweeted about it. I commented on a tweet that was shared with me on that, and it said it was just total hot garbage, because that's what it is. But I'm just not going to give it direct attention just because I don't want it to get any more views than it has, because again, if we're talking about toxic masculinity. That word toxic they like to throw around a lot. The only thing that's toxic is the media and these people who are going to the ends of the earth to try and defend this film when just, again, from an objective narrative standpoint, it just can't hold up. So a lot of Star Wars content creators have gotten quite brazen in defending their art on the social media platforms over the past year, especially in the wake of The Last Jedi, one of the most divisive releases in the current canon. It's amazing to me that already in the first sentence there's been no attacks, and it's just been acknowledged as saying that people have become very protective of their art. He actually describes it as an art. Who is this? B. Alan Orange actually describes it as an art, which is interesting to me because that's normally not how people who are critical of us view us. They don't view us as content creators. They view us as people who are just trying to stir the pot for views. And it's like, no, we are people who feel this way and are just in the position to be able to share it with a lot of other people. That's what it all comes down to. Again, I do YouTube because it's fun. I do videos because it's a fun thing to do. And also I have a huge passion for Star Wars. And so obviously Star Wars is going to be a major part of the content that I do on this channel. And that's what it all comes down to. So I'm glad that this person is actually not going on the attack right away, and also seems to be implying that the people who are making these videos, people like me, Mike Zero, Jeremy Gleason Gamers, and at Star Wars Go, Ivan Ortega, the list goes on and on. Again, I leave people out every single time because there's so many great channels now. The fact that he's even saying that it's like art, or at least that it's content, at least acknowledging that it's actual content, to me is amazing. And director Rian Johnson has been trashed for his attempts at subverting expectations. Now the director has decided to fire back, and he very carefully put one popular YouTuber in his crosshairs, going after the equally divisive Mike Zero in a series of disenchanting tweets that have since been deleted. So again, I would agree that he's probably very divisive as well, because he does put out content on a daily basis, sometimes multiple videos a day on whatever the newest rumors are, even if the rumors are unsubstantiated. That's what he talks about. And again, that's what his channel does. Again, I'm not a person, he's not someone that I watch every single day, but I do defend his right to be able to put content out there, and I do, of course, go against the words of what Rian Johnson said because I think it just doesn't hold up. Mike Zero is quite well known by Star Wars fans as he uploads new content to his YouTube channel on a daily basis. Again, just summarizing what I just said. But Zero really ruffled some feathers with Team Lucasfilm when he published a new video claiming Rian Johnson's upcoming Star Wars trilogy, which will fall outside the Skywalker saga and feature all new characters and locations, had been canceled. Zero did claim that Johnson may now only make one Star Wars movie, but that a full trilogy will depend on how that first film is received. And I think that's a very good statement. Again, it says there the reason why, and it makes sense, and this is actually something that's amazing to me. The person in this article says this actually makes all the sense in the world considering the box office failure of Solo. You don't usually hear that language a lot, which was supposed to be a trilogy with Alden Ehrenreich contracted for 3 films that are 99.9% definitely not happening at this point. The fact that there is someone on MovieWeb, the fact that there is someone in these mainstream media sites that is actually putting those words out there, to me, shows sign of a change. Because if this was just a couple months ago, there's no way that this article would have been put out there. There's no way anyone would have said that Solo was a financial failure, a huge financial box office disaster, and also no one would say that there's a 99.9% chance that they aren't going to double down and try and make more films. To me, that is already a huge shift. Also, the tone, again, is very different than what we've seen in the past. Instead of being very having that attacking tone that we've seen in a lot of video, or rather a lot of articles, geared towards the fans that we've seen of the Scott Mendelsons of the world and all those other people, this seems to be a little bit more tame and seems to be a little bit more on the nose, and also is acknowledging reality, is actually acknowledging facts, which is very refreshing to see. Rumors of Rian Johnson's departure from Lucasfilm and the cancellation of this new trilogy have been swarming for a while. They tie into the rumors that Kathleen Kennedy is leaving Lucasfilm in September. We're in September, so hopefully that happens, and that Johnson is going with her. That would be fantastic. If we got on the same day, Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down and Rian Johnson is moving on, I'm telling you right now, if that were to happen, at least half of the people who are pissed off would come back. Now, again, there are a lot of people who would not come back. There's still a lot that they would need to do, that Disney would need to do to gain the trust of a lot of fans back. But a lot of people still would be very, very happy to have that actually happen. So none of this has ever been confirmed by any real sources connected to Disney or Lucasfilm, which is why I've always said it's likely. But again, we don't have any concrete evidence at this point other than just logic would seem to dictate that would be the case. Again, you don't lose a company $200+ million at the box office and not have any repercussions for those actions. Johnson has been asked multiple times about his upcoming new Star Wars trilogy on social media, but he stayed relatively silent up until recently. Until earlier this week, a fan asked if Johnson was still working on his trilogy, and he replied, "Yep," with the fist bump emoji. It was only later that Rian Johnson learned that Mike Zero was responsible for the rumors that Johnson was leaving Lucasfilm, and of course, this is the one that I I did famously well, I think. I did a really great Rian Johnson impersonation with a really creepy laugh, so I'm not going to do the creepy laugh again, but I will do my Rian Johnson
Wait, this is all because of Zero. when we were in production, we had a guy keeping an eye on online rumors. At some point, we started using Zero as a verb, like throws trash in a basket, but it slips out of her hand and falls behind you. Zeroed it.
Sorry, I put a little bit of a troll on that as well, but I think it kind of gets the message across about what kind of person we're dealing here with Rian Johnson. Shortly after Rian Johnson made these tweets against Zero, he deleted them, but not before they were captured for posterity by a couple of other prominent Star Wars YouTubers who couldn't believe that the Star Wars director was going after the YouTube community in this way, and many have come out against Johnson for this bullying tactic. And again, it acknowledges as a bullying tactic. It doesn't put it in quotations. It doesn't do anything. It's amazing. It's amazing to me that now we have a news article out there. Again, it is MovieWeb, but it's still an article nonetheless from MovieWeb, which again has put out some questionable articles in the past, is actually acknowledging the reality of the situation. It's amazing to me. It's absolutely amazing to me. The one person that hasn't spoke out is Mike Zero, who perhaps doesn't even know any of this happened. And also, at the end of this day, he doesn't have to. I think the damage has been done to Rian Johnson because now so many people, so many YouTubers, again, much bigger channels than I'm at like almost 3,300 subscribers. You know, obviously the 70Ks, the 75Ks, what some people might say small, still very large, like, you know, multiple thousands. Altogether, over 100,000 people are a part of this community, are pissed off, are angry about what's going on, are angry at the comments of Rian Johnson, the fact that he's going after, or that he and the people on set, he's admitted openly that on set they went after people like Mike Zero and made fun of him on a daily basis. And I just think that's interesting, the fact that he would put that out there publicly and then of course delete it, not apologize, but delete it, to me, again, shows that he is a coward. He will put words out there, but he won't stand by them. He won't back them up. Instead, he'll say, oh, I put these out there. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have put that out there. It just amazes me, just the amount of just cowardice being shown by this man. All right, along with Rian Johnson, Pablo Hidalgo is another Star Wars content creator and contributor that has attacked fans on social media. All too well we know about this. Many have mixed feelings about these creators jumping in the mix. Johnson obviously had second feelings about it too, or he wouldn't have deleted his tweets so quickly. Damage has been done, dude. You can't take it back. Furthermore, some Lucasfilm insiders continue to insist that Kathleen Kennedy will be gone come this September and that Rian Johnson will go with her, not even giving fans the first chapter in his proposed new Star Wars trilogy. Here's a look at the deleted tweets. Once again, so there, as you can see, those are the deleted tweets themselves for everyone to see. Again, these are something that I covered in previous videos. So again, wait, this is all because of Zero. Again, just bullying and making fun of Mike Zero. And again, I'm not a person who will defend the content of Mike Zero as being reliable. Again, I'm not that guy. I'm not going to do that. But as far as Rian Johnson, who is a grown man, who is a director of a Star Wars franchise, who's like a mainstream Hollywood director, and now at this point, because he was given a Star Wars film, to me, that tells me just all that I need to know about the guy. If he will go out there and go after essentially a fan in that way, because no one will deny that Mike Zero is not a huge Star Wars fan. Why do you think he covers the material? It's not just because of the clicks. It's not just because of the views that it gets. It all started because of a passion that he had for Star Wars. So obviously this guy, since most of his channel is dedicated to Star Wars news, this guy obviously has a very strong passion for the Star Wars universe. And so for Rian Johnson to go after him in this way is just ridiculous, but also too, it just again kind of talks about just where he and where a lot of the other people at Lucasfilm are at this point, because it really truly is amazing just how these people will just go after anyone and think that they're bulletproof. But obviously we've seen that it's not the case. And if people weren't already ticked off at Rian Johnson already, there are now so many more people that Rian Johnson is on their radar and they will not defend. I had people last night. I put a poll out in one of my in my live stream last night, and who is worse, Kathleen Kennedy or Rian Johnson? And Rian Johnson won overwhelmingly. And why is that the case? Mostly because of these recent comments, mostly because of his recent actions. There are some people who will still defend him as a director, will still defend him for The Last Jedi, but it's because of this behavior that in the end what we see a very huge change happening. And another thing too that this article does, and I can't find it at this point, is it does acknowledge that there is very likely going to be, or rather the backlash to The Last Jedi that exists, the upset fan base, that it was over half the audience. He said half the audience, maybe even over half the audience. I can't remember if it was this article or another article, but someone in the media acknowledged that probably over half of the audience, over half of the people who went to go see The Last Jedi came out disappointed. And I think, again, that shows a major turn. So that's why, again, it's not just about, obviously, the Mike Zero situation, but it's also about the media. Again, the fact that MovieWeb is putting out an article that's calling into question these things, that's acknowledging certain parts of the reality of the situation, is mind-blowing, is just so amazing to me. The fact that we have, again, these people in the media who are actually not going straight to the defense of Lucasfilm, of Disney, of all these other things, is a breath of fresh air, and also something that I hopefully means that the tide might be turning and that the media finally might be starting to see the light, and that if they continue to try and attack the fans, it's not going to be good for their bottom line. But anyway, guys, what are y'all's thoughts about this? Please let me know in the comments below. I'd greatly appreciate that. Also, please stay tuned for future live streams and also other events. We've got a couple of movie nights coming over the next couple weeks. Next week, we're watching Three Amigos, and then 2 weeks from then, we are watching Aliens, so it's going to be very exciting. Again, I'm going to try and get so much more stuff. We have a new month here on the channel. Again, it's the beginning of September. I'm going to try and do some more content, bring some more stuff, more movie reviews, things like that on the channel, and I cannot wait to do all the things. So, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. Have a great day, and as always, God bless.